Has your dog ever suddenly frozen, stared down an empty hallway, and started growling at absolutely nothing? You look. There's nobody there. You listen. Silence. But your dog clearly senses something. Before you assume your house is haunted, there's something you should know. Dogs experience a world very different from ours. They can hear sounds we can't hear, detect scents we don't even know exist, and notice tiny changes happening around us long before we do. Some of these abilities have straightforward scientific explanations. Others have inspired strange stories for thousands of years. So what exactly is your dog detecting when you notice absolutely nothing? Here are 7 strange things dogs can see, hear, and sense that humans can't. And number 1 might explain some of your dog's creepiest behavior. 7. Sounds that are completely silent to you. Your house isn't as quiet as you think. Dogs can hear frequencies far beyond the upper range of normal human hearing. That means something you experience as complete silence may contain an entire world of sound for your dog. Electronic devices, tiny animals, high-frequency noises, movement somewhere outside, even sounds coming from another part of the building. That's why a dog may suddenly raise its ears and stare toward a wall while you hear absolutely nothing. To you, the dog is reacting to empty space. To the dog, something may actually be there. You simply can't hear it. 6. Someone approaching before you know they're there. Have you ever noticed your dog waiting near the door, minutes before someone arrives? It can seem almost psychic. But dogs have 2 enormous advantages over us: their hearing, and their sense of smell. Your dog may recognize the sound of a familiar car long before you notice it. Footsteps can have recognizable patterns. And scents can travel through the environment before the person actually appears. So when your dog suddenly races toward the door, it might not be predicting the future. It may simply be receiving information your senses haven't detected yet. 5. Changes happening inside your body. This is where things become extraordinary. Dogs don't just smell food or other animals. Their noses can detect incredibly subtle chemical information. Specially trained dogs have demonstrated the ability to identify biological changes associated with certain medical conditions. Some assistance dogs can also be trained to respond to changes connected with seizures or blood sugar. That doesn't mean every pet dog can diagnose disease. They can't. But it does demonstrate something remarkable. Your body is constantly producing chemical signals, and a dog's nose can perceive some changes that you cannot. So if your dog suddenly becomes unusually interested in one person, there may sometimes be more information reaching that nose than we realize. 4. When you're stressed or afraid, you might be able to fake a smile for another person. Your dog may be harder to fool. Dogs are extremely sensitive to human behavior. They notice posture, movement, facial expressions, tone of voice. But research also suggests dogs can detect odor changes associated with human stress. Think about that. Fear isn't necessarily just something your dog sees on your face. Your body may actually smell different. That's one reason dogs can sometimes appear to know something is wrong before you've said a single word. You're trying to act normally. But to your dog, you may already be broadcasting the answer. 3. A storm before it arrives. Some dog owners swear their pets become restless before a thunderstorm. They pace, hide, whine, or suddenly refuse to go outside. Part of the explanation may be surprisingly simple. Dogs can detect distant thunder before humans hear it. They may also respond to environmental changes associated with approaching storms. And because their senses are so much more sensitive than ours, the storm may effectively begin for them long before it begins for us. To the owner, the dog's behavior seems like a prediction. But perhaps the dog isn't predicting anything. Perhaps it's simply noticing that the storm has already arrived, just not within the range of human perception. 2. Movement in the dark that you miss. Dogs don't see the world exactly as humans do. Humans generally have better color vision. But dogs are adapted differently, including for detecting movement and functioning under lower light conditions. So imagine you're standing in a dim room. You see nothing unusual. Your dog suddenly turns its head. Something tiny moved. A reflection shifted. An insect crossed the wall. Or an animal moved outside a window. You missed it. Your dog didn't. And this brings us to perhaps the strangest behavior of all. 1. Whatever is in the empty room. Almost every dog owner seems to know this moment. Your dog suddenly stops. Its ears rise. Its eyes lock onto one corner of the room. Maybe it tilts its head. Maybe it growls. Maybe its tail drops. And then, it just stares. There's nothing there. At least, nothing you can detect. For centuries, behavior like this helped create stories that dogs could sense spirits or see things from another world. Different cultures have connected dogs with death, guardianship, and the boundary between the living and the dead. But there are plenty of ordinary possibilities. A mouse inside a wall. Water moving through pipes. An electrical sound. An insect. A smell coming through a vent. Movement outside. Or a high-frequency noise completely beyond your hearing. The fascinating part isn't that dogs can definitely see ghosts. There's no scientific evidence establishing that. The fascinating part is that when your dog reacts to nothing, nothing may only mean nothing to you. Your dog is experiencing information your brain never receives. And that leaves us with an uncomfortable question. When your dog stares into an empty room, how can you ever be completely certain what it's reacting to? Dogs have lived beside humans for thousands of years. And yet, they're experiencing a sensory world we'll never fully share. They hear things we can't hear. Smell things we can't smell. Notice movements we overlook. And detect changes happening right in front of us. So the next time your dog suddenly wakes up, looks toward an empty doorway, and refuses to look away, remember, before asking why your dog is staring at nothing, maybe ask whether you simply can't sense what's there. Now tell us, has your dog ever stared, barked, or growled at something you couldn't see? What happened? Share your story in the comments. And subscribe to the Hidden Archive for more unexplained phenomena, forgotten beliefs, and mysteries hiding in plain sight.